exhibit is Call of the Wild. It's an amazing exhibit. Unfortunately, it's not in person. The third virtual Call of the Wild exhibit we have produced since the pandemic started. And I think this is really one of the best. And we are just very pleased to present it. We are the San Fernando Valley Arts and Cultural Center SCORE project.
Yeah.
I am Pat Bates. I am the treasurer of it. I am also involved with San Fernando Valley Audubon Society and a few other things.
Get in here.
And I'd like to welcome our board members. I see Susan Spector. Yay, Adria Becker. I think Susie Gesundheit is on. Our Vice President Emeritus, Ken Roney. And that said, welcome. Usually I go on a little bit of a diatribe about how we had a real brick and mortar gallery. That's about 3 years gone now. And we're finding this is a nice platform. And we'll hear a little bit more about it from our juror. And I'm going to stop sharing right now. And I'd like to introduce Scott Logan and Bonnie Logan. They have worked together to jury this exhibit. Scott is an absolutely amazing photographer, naturalist. They both are. And we are really honored to have them jurying this show. And they are amazing protectors of wildlife in our area and beyond. And at this point, I'd like to open it up for the Scott and Bonnie to have a few words. And then we're going to run through the winners of the exhibit, starting with the honorable mentions. Then we will open it up to everyone to say a few words about their artwork. And of course, if the artist is present, you're certainly welcome to say a few words to us. So thank you, and Scott and Bonnie.
All right. Well, thank you, Pat. Again, yeah, my name is Scott Logan. Bonnie and I have had a naturalist company for the last 15 years where we try to connect people here in Los Angeles to the nature that we live within. I'm a graphic artist by trade and been lucky enough to make my living with a camera over the last about 10 years. Had a lot of fun during this show. Again, nature is totally our thing. So this was really, really fun to look at all of this. And it was very, very hard. And I know that Bonnie will tell you the same thing, how difficult it was, because there were some really, really good pieces. Yeah, I think we needed to get it down to something like 100 pieces and couldn't do that. So I think it ended up at 130. So bravo to all of you guys for sure. You want to say anything?
Yeah, it was a pleasure going through and looking at all of your beautiful work. And I wish everyone could have won. It was really hard.
She's not lying about that.
And I've done art myself, so I know how much work's involved. And that was definitely, a consideration besides the content. We were just really honored to be able to do this.
Thank you. And I think we're ready to jump right into the first honorable mention winners. And if Scott and Bonnie would like to say a few words about the pieces, and I know we were discussing this one before and how hard it is to visualize 3D things from photographs. I am going to share the screen. I may have to fiddle with it a tiny bit to get it working properly here. And
There it is.
Yes,
well, that's
Yeah.
fortunate. There we go.
this is the artist online that did this? I was amazed that this started out as a coil pot. I've done ceramics I've thought that was very interesting, and obviously then she smoothed it out and carved it, but I mean, it's so realistic. And I love the way that it's like the top is like burnished a little, and like I don't know exactly how it was fired or how, what kind of process was used for the glaze, but it's just lovely.
I agree. Yeah. I love that piece too.
I would have liked to have seen more shots of it, but
Well, that is an amazing piece, and it looks definitely like something you would find outside. It's
Yeah.
amazing. And
Yeah.
I don't think the artist is here, but if she does turn up later, we'll certainly open it up and let her say a few words.
okay.
So let's move ahead. And this is the next one.
So that one I really appreciated, because I know when I'm out taking photographs and I've taken a photograph of something like that, I just cross my fingers and pray that I got it right at the right moment, in focus, everything, and that shot's dead on in all of those respects. I know how excited he was when he saw that he captured that way. And also, although I've never seen a fox hunting before, I've seen coyotes hunting a lot. And they do that same move when they're going up to get a rodent. And so it's just a beautiful pose of an animal. So that's why I loved it so much.
It is amazing, and it's on the focus on the
Yeah, you should.
the face is just unbelievable.
Yeah, it's dead on, and it's just right amount of depth of field and everything to it. I just really enjoyed that shot
Yeah.
a lot.
That is just lovely. And we will move ahead. Here we go.
And I think, as we were talking a minute ago, both Bonnie and I really wish we could have seen this one in person to see exactly what was happening there. But I personally love the concept of it. I loved all those bits and pieces, and I want to know what they are. Like, I want to look at them closely and see exactly what's going on there. But, I just kept looking and looking and looking at this and wanting to go back to it. But again, I really wish I could have seen it in person. Still, I really, really loved it on screen too.
And also the title, Rainforest Upended,
Yeah.
which is just so true.
Yeah,
Um,
it's interesting too, because it says it's 16 by 20 by 2 inches. So I'm wondering if, I don't know if it's mounted on something or if that is the depth of the materials that are overlaid onto it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. For some of these three-dimensional pieces, that's where we had so much trouble, where we really wish we could have seen them in person.
Yeah.
I still would love to see this in person.
Is the artist here for that? Or I guess they're gonna talk after, huh?
He'll, yeah, if they're here, they can
Yeah,
shout
chime
out
in.
or chime in, yeah. Okay. And this is the next piece.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
it's-
Death the Ballet Swan.
it-
Yeah. Again, the work that went into
Yeah.
that, and the detail, and
it's
is so realistic.
pastels and yeah, it's just it's really spectacular.
And was truly
Yeah,
capturing a
here.
moment.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Oh, Karina is here.
Thank you.
Oh.
I had no idea that I had an honorable mention. I was just entering the show.
Well,
Well,
congratulations.
would you like to say a
so
few
much.
words?
Can we see her?
I'm really surprised and very thankful, and I'm really happy that you like this piece. It's actually one of my favorites as well at my wildlife. And I'm just really honored. Thank you so much. It took me a lot of time to do this piece. I am disabled. I have a genetic disorder. My spine collapsed. So I do things with a lot of pain. So when I accomplish something, it's a big deal for me because sometimes I can't believe that I actually did it, and you know, in the condition that sometimes I'm in, you know. So I'm really happy.
Wow. It's just lovely. Like we said, it's so hard to choose like any of them, one that more than the other. But what I also really liked about it is that you didn't do a swan in the usual swan pose. And you know, there's action involved, and it's
Yeah.
actually like a bird being a bird and bathing. And you usually don't see a swan depicted that way.
It reminded me of ballet. It
Yeah.
reminded me of the story of Odette. That's why I named her Odette. It just reminded me. I love ballet, so this really drew me to, you know, to depict, you know, something like that.
And another thing for me is that I don't particularly like to crop animals when I'm shooting animals. That's just my preference.
Right.
But this works. Like it cropped like this. Like I'm not bothered by it being cropped at all like this. I love it. I love it. So good job.
Thank you so much. I'm really honored. Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's really lovely.
Thank you. You know, I had a thought. Let me turn my video back on. My just a sec. I'm doing three things at once here. So my photography, one of my instructors said, you've got to, you know, you've got it when you crop, you don't want to cut things off.
Right.
But when we're learning art from my friend Adria and Susie, they say cut it off. Put it right up on. I've actually done artworks and looked at it and say, and I put it in the paper cutter and sliced straight through a couple of limbs. But I was always criticized for photography with not leaving the very last tip of a feather in there. So
Well,
I don't.
I mean, because it's so hard to figure out where to crop it to. It's so hard to figure out where the action stops or where the animal stops. And you know, I don't know, on this one, I like it.
And the composition of it is, the composition is just.
And I'll tell you another thing I really like about it too, that it's in dark water and a dark background. You might notice behind me, I'm into that sort of feel. I like dark. I like that feel. So
I do too. I'm very actually, if you see my work, I'm very inspired by Flemish dark backgrounds. Lighting. It's just my thing. You know?
I think it really highlights the subject too. When the background's dark, then all the focus is on the subject, and I like that too. So
thank you so much. I'm really honored. Thank you. Thank you for
entering it.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's beautiful. And by the way, if you were trying to shoot that photo and trying not to get the white burned out, I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, so it'd be tough.
It'd be tough. Okay, we'll move ahead. Second place.
I guess I'll talk about it first. The reason why, is the artist here for this one, by any chance? No. The reason why this immediately struck me was because of its like acrylic horn with the lotus underneath. And I know the symbolism of that the artist was doing is different than the symbolism that I got out of it. And right now, like in Zimbabwe, South Africa, Namibia, there's a big movement of wildlife conservation for rhinos in cutting off their horns. So they can cut off their horns because the rhinos are being killed for their horns, so that they're, you know, being shipped to God knows where for God knows what reason, but they're destroying a whole animal over that horn, right? And it's a similar material to our nails, so they can cut it off and it'll grow back. It doesn't hurt them, but by cutting the horn off, then now it saves the animal. And so here it is. Here's this rhino with this acrylic horn with this lotus flower, and to me that's like life. It's like life because its horn's removed, and it's such a powerful picture. It's such a powerful. It's like powerful but beautiful at the same time, you know. And I love the red too. Like that's a very different way to do a rhino, and just that whole feeling of it. But again, it symbolized something different to me than the artist had stated. But it was a very powerful message to me anyway.
Yeah, we can't see the statements anymore, but it was something about being peaceful. I think probably contrasting that strength and power of the rhino with peace. And I might have even said something about Buddha. But yeah, I agree with Scott. I mean, you know, just putting that horn, I mean, to me, it's glass, not acrylic, but which makes it even more fragile. It's just you know, it's a strong and beautiful statement.
Yeah, I mean, like to me, like that's a statement in conservation right there. Like, I don't know, there's
Yeah.
just so many things about it. And again, because the rhino is so powerful and, you know, and so beautiful and everything at the same time, but that little horn on the front of its head could mean it life or death for it. So that's what we kind of got out of that. But yeah.
Besides the beautiful oil painting that
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very large piece.
Yeah,
It is a very large piece. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, not to mention that.
Okay. I love this one.
All right. Yeah, so did I. And, you know, to me, again, is the artist here? Because I would love to ask him a question about this one.
Oh, yes, I am.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, nice job. To me, this is kind of like between Charlie Harper and James Audubon. I don't know what style you'd call this, but I just love the lines. I love everything about it. And I also love this bird because it's a California endemic and I love California birds.
But
So
his first love is birding. He's a birder.
yeah, I'm a
so
birder and I knew exactly what bird
that's-
this was. And again, you know, there's a few California endemics. This is one of them, but I've never quite seen a yellow-billed magpie done in this way. I've never seen it done this way before. And I love the wing that's the forewing that's closest to us, the shape of it. You know, the amount of work too that went into this, I'm sure was just a crazy amount of work, but I just love the lines, love everything about it.
You want to
Sure. Yeah, I just want to thank you for the honor. This is a tremendous exhibit. I started out as a realist, and I still do realism. But some years ago, I decided I needed to loosen up, and my idea of loosening up was to get out a piece of graph paper and a ruler and a compass, and I wanted to do a bird, and I was very pleased with the result. And I've done about 15 of these over the year. I've also done a lot of other stylized geometric paintings. I've actually started doing some landscapes in sort of this style. But I really love doing the birds, and I just draw them out on graph paper, get the colors right with Prismacolor pencils, enlarge it on the canvas, and yeah, the acrylic paints, of course, are great for this kind of style because I use rolls and rolls of masking tape, and I really enjoy the process.
Yeah, and it's a big piece too. So just keeping all those lines all so perfect.
Mhm.
and it's hard to see, but I love your gradations. Going from the dark into the light. And then down here, you even see the little bit of purple.
Yeah,
and
you get
green,
the-
and the transition is so smooth.
Yeah, you bring
in
out the
gradation.
iridescence of the feathers of that bird. Yeah, for sure.
It
Sure.
really is a beautiful bird. I grew up south of San Jose and used to go down to the creek and see these things flying around, and I just fell in love with them.
Yeah, exactly. Going up through, you know, Central California and, you know, needing to do a pit stop somewhere in the middle of nowhere, there's birds always hanging out, and I would love it. So what would you call this style? What would you call it?
Oh, I don't really have a label for it. Obviously, it's geometric. I limit myself to straight lines and compass arcs, and I would call it sort of a geometric stylized something or other.
Yeah, well, it's beautiful. Loved it. Loved it.
I do too. I would love to have that in my house.
I'm sure Jim would love if it were in your house too.
There you go. Okay, and we're moving on to the best of show. And here we go. And I do see the artist is here, so
Good.
Let's
take it away, Scott.
Well, I'll let you
Okay.
start with that. This
Yeah,
one.
I mean, okay. How long? Okay, I just want to talk, where is the art? Susan, how long did this take? And wow, you are patient. It's incredible. Like, I just can't look at it enough. And also I love that it's a snake, first of all. And people don't draw, that's not, people don't like to draw paint, or even see them really. And like like Pat was saying, it was like hidden in there, but I mean, it's so, I mean, at first glance, you think it's a photograph,
Mhm.
but it's not, yeah, it's just colored pencil, and it's spectacular.
Yeah, and
It's-
and I'll add a quick thing in too, that for me, what I loved about it is that, people do drawings or paintings of snakes or photographs of snakes or whatever it is, but it's hard to capture what it feels like to see a snake when you're out like in the wild. And this captures it, because like you look at this picture and you're like, oh, there's a bunch of, like, well, I don't know where this is. Like, this is like some stream has piled up all of these, sticks or something, because they look like they're a little bit, rolled in stones and stuff, some of them, or whatever.
Mossy.
And then all of a sudden, oh, there's a snake, like, oh, holy crap,
That's-
there's a snake. And that's exactly what you feel like outside. It's like the exact feeling. And it was captured in this. And that's why that was my immediate attraction to it, was like, that's perfect. So that's my 2 cents. So I'd love to hear about it.
Thank you so much. I think I had about 140 hours in it. I did it during the shutdown, so I had a lot of time on my hands. But I took it. I was on vacation and I went to Bellingraph Gardens in Alabama, and it was this snarl of branches and everything was floating in the water. And I didn't even see, like you said, I didn't even see the snake. I was attracted to all the branches and whatever. I thought, this is interesting. And then when I started getting closer to it, because I thought, oh, I'll take some pictures of this. And when I got closer, that's when I saw the snake, and
Yeah.
he was wrapped in the branches. And I thought, well, this is even better now. It's even better. So yeah, I really loved working on this piece, because I'm very it's like putting together a jigsaw puzzle to me when I'm doing it.
Oh
time.
my God.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
bet.
that's exactly what it is, with all the
Yeah.
intersecting lines. It's crazy.
Yeah, but I really enjoy doing it, and you're right. I mean, people have said they love it, but they hate snakes. So they're like, I hate to look at it, but I love the portrait,
But you want to know something?
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to say is different about this one, is this is not a hate to look at snake one, because it's a surprise one is what it is. It's like, I don't know, there's just something very, very beautiful about it. And my guess is it's a water moccasin, but I'm not sure.
I
That's
think
what
it is. Yeah.
Yeah, but and which is a dangerous snake, but it's not looking dangerous there. It's looking like
It's just relaxing.
it's just relaxing. And it's like I'm out in the wild, I'm hanging out, I'm relaxing, and I'm part of nature. I don't know. That's the feeling I get from this. It's just really beautiful, really beautiful.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah. How large is the 18 by 32? Wow, that's a lot of work.
Yeah,
That's a lot of colored pencils.
it was a lot of pencils. Yes. Yes.
Is that your favorite medium, or do you do other things, or
I just do colored pencil.
you just do colored pencil?
Yeah, I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's like therapeutic, huh? Just like,
It is,
I
and
know.
it just, I've tried doing oils and and some other things, but the pencils just allow you such a degree of precision with everything. And I really like that a lot.
Wow,
no.
it's
Yeah.
impressive.
It's impressive.
That's really, really impressive. And we were talking a bit earlier about a bit of a challenge to Bonnie and I during this judging is that we didn't get to see the pieces themselves. We just were seeing photographs of them.
Mhm.
And some of the pieces we really, really wanted to see in person. And, absolutely, this is one of them, because like I would have stared for hours at you know, your pencil strokes, or even trying to find them to see if I could even find them because it looks so fine. But you know, and in that vein, like for me, if I want to keep looking at something over and over and over and over again, then that's makes a really nice piece of art. And this one, I can look at this for hours. So yeah, really nice job.
Thank you very much.
Mm.
I've just got a question. The edges of the branches and even the snake seem to be just a little bit fuzzy and blurry. I'm wondering, is that an artifact of the photography using lower resolution than possibly done, or is it actually that's the way the piece itself looks?
That's the photography. You know, it was very hard. And I even had I have a professional photographer here in St. Louis that does all my scanning of my pieces and everything. And I mean, he's amazing. And I've never captured this very well digitally, because even you can see some of the blues and things, but in person, I have so many colors in the wood. I mean, I have purples and carmines, and there's oranges, and the photograph doesn't really do it justice in that respect.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I was a graphic artist for years, and 20 years ago when digital scanning first started, I was working in shops that we did digital scanning, and I eventually got onto a drum scanner. And one of the biggest things that gave us trouble was pencils, because light shines differently. When light is concentrated on pencil, it shines in different directions. And it's so hard to get the light soft enough on it to get the right colors to come out of it. And I would imagine that that would be still true today, that there's just some things that you can't photograph, you can't capture right, because the light is refracting differently than it normally is just to our eyes. And I'm guessing that that's what happened in this, with them trying to get a good photograph of it.
Yeah,
Because I see what Ken's talking about. I see those soft spots. And now that you're mentioning there's other colors that aren't coming out in it, it's because of the way the light refracts off of the color pencil.
mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes total sense.
Well, that makes me want to see it in person even
Yeah.
more.
Did you just
Sue,
keep-
you may have to come out to LA and show it to us.
That would be great. That would be great.
But yeah, congratulations. Really,
Yeah.
really beautiful.
Thank you very
Congratulations.
much.
It's an amazing amount of work, and I, you know, it was when I was first looking at it, I was telling everyone before, I'm going, wow, that's a nice bunch of sticks. And I said, okay, I know there's something in there. And it was just a typical thing, like, oh, there's the snake. And it's just like, for example, one time I was hiking up near Mineral King, and I kept hearing the rattlesnake and I couldn't see it. And it's rattling and it's rattling, and I'm going, it's here somewhere. It was wrapped around all the branches in a manzanita.
Hmm.
And
Oh,
I got just a little crappy camera picture. And if you look at the manzanita, you can just every so often you can see some snake.
Wow.
And I gave it very wide berth.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, they know how to camouflage.
yeah. And I think they do it on person. And what I'm going to do now is, I know we've got other artists here that'd like to say a few words, and I'll open it up, and probably the best way would be to put something in chat or just raise your hand. You can use the raise hand feature, which is, no, where is it here? I should know. It's in reactions, raise. Yeah, so it's in the reactions and raise hand. So I'm sure that someone would like to say a few words about their work. And if they don't want to, I will.
Well, go ahead, Pat. Tell us about your dragonfly.
That is a damselfly, I'll have you know.
Oh, the damselfly was yours?
Mhm.
Oh,
Here we go. This isn't the flipping from artist to artist is kind of an inelegant process here, but we do get it done. So here we go. That's the other one.
oh, there it is. Cool.
Yeah. And that was, I was actually down in one of the tributaries to the LA River. And I just shot it with it was my 600 millimeter lens from probably 20 feet away. And it somehow miraculously, the little guy, I believe, I'm not sure I even know what species this critter is.
It's a vivid dancer.
Vivid dancer, right? I knew it was, yeah. And during the summer, I do a lot of bird photography, but when you get into midsummer and it's 110 degrees and the birds have been sitting on a nest and they just look awful. They're bedraggled, their feathers are falling out. It's not worth doing it, but you know, when it's 110 degrees, what else are you going to do? You can go out and shoot pictures of dragonflies. They love the heat. So you know, and just for whatever reason, the whole dragonfly came into focus.
Mm.
It was a miracle.
Yeah, well, that's a small damselfly.
Oh, they're tiny.
The cool thing,
They're
I was-
what, about an inch and a half long at most.
in that neighborhood, yeah,
Yeah.
they're small. They're very small. And this is a male, and the female look very different than the males do. But they're emerging right now. And you can see real nice fresh ones, and they're very populous right now because they're all beginning to crawl out of their water and crawl out of their last instar or exoskeleton and become a damselfly.
Yeah, so I know that was at Bull Creek. And I'll just say a couple words about the next one. This was up in Goleta, and these are our West Coast monarchs, and it's a eucalyptus grove with, when we were up there, there was tens of thousands of the monarchs hanging, just draped everywhere throughout the tree. Very, very limited area within a large bunch of trees. And I think most of us that are at all environmental in most areas, especially here in LA, we're planting milkweed like crazy. And I'm kind of
native milkweed.
Native milkweed, narrow leaf, and a couple other kinds. And I'm spearheading, besides doing my own yard, I'm trying to work on a program putting in pollinator gardens. Let me just do something there in public facilities. So our pilot project was a pollinator garden at a LA City of Los Angeles fire station in Encino, and we were thrilled. The first year it was loaded with monarch caterpillars. I could not have been more excited if I laid the eggs myself. And I mean, it's just awesome. It's easy pickings. Some of these public facilities are very easy to do this in because they have water. So, you know, and with fire stations, the people at the stations are so busy, they don't want to be bothered with maintenance. And once you develop a bit of a rapport, you can just go in and do it. And I take care of the whole thing, keep it weeded, and it's turned into a great relationship, and we're looking for other fire stations to do.
Great.
I was able to get funding from San Fernando Valley Audubon Society and the City of Los Angeles Neighborhood Council to to put this pilot in. And we're actually expanding it on the inside of the station now.
That's
So
awesome.
Yeah, it's,
Great.
So
it's-
what,
Are there any other art of the? what-
I was just gonna ask real
Lisa?
quick, Pat, what year did you take that photograph?
last fall.
Well, that's encouraging.
good.
That's great.
Oh my God, it was amazing. This was in Goleta. We were figuring we'd have to drive further up the coast, and I know one of the guys, a grad student at CSUN, is finding them all along the coast now.
Oh, they're all, that's their normal ranges, Baja up and through the Central Coast, yeah.
Exactly, but I mean, he's finding larger quantities than we were seeing for quite a while.
That's great to hear.
Yeah, and they, I mean, it was unbelievable how many were up there. So hopefully the trend continues and people keep putting in the right kind of milkweed.
Are there any other artists that want to ask?
Yeah.
Talk about their
Susie.
art.
Okay, hold on, Susie, and I'll get over to you. Okay, let's see here. Right. We've got a couple here.
I have a couple, yeah.
Let's, okay, we don't have a load of people. We can certainly do both of them.
As long as we have the time.
Hi,
I'm just, okay, now I'm really curious how I was chosen because I'm so different from the other. This was a monotype, which is much more painterly and kind of misty and kind of not specific. But it is a Mustang of sorts.
Yeah.
And my only topical reference really is that I've made many trips through like the Owens Valley, going up to Mammoth, and we would see the wild horses occasionally. And it was so exciting. And when I read more about them, I found that they're kind of endangered, and they're, as many animals are. And anyway, I put them in my pieces.
Yeah, well, they're very nice.
Really nice collage.
And you're saying, that, you
It
you
looks
didn't know
like-
how it got chosen because they're different. I think we both really liked that they were different,
Okay.
yeah, for sure.
I think,
was
I mean,
exciting.
but there's so many different pieces of art in this show. I mean, like so many
Yeah.
different styles.
Yes, there are.
Yeah.
It's a well-rounded show. You did a great job of selecting. And that's all this. So this, as a monotype, I could just tell you that it's
there
those.
you go.
Oh, that's the one we were just looking at, yeah.
Yeah.
Is kind of a micro.
So how was that created? Exactly.
This was, okay, this, as a monotype process, it was rolling ink onto a plate, which was the size of that, there's that shape. And then taking away, so it's a reductive. I use Q-tips and rags and things. And then adding darks with more ink, that's all. And then it's a one-time print. So you print once and that's it. Unless you want to do a ghost, which is the previous one that you looked at was more of a ghost image. I had printed previous ones with much more ink.
Uh-huh.
What you see is really I used plastic cut in shapes. And then when I peeled up the plastic and printed again, that's how I got the textures.
Ah.
The texture is the pressure of the ink from going through the previous pressing. It makes texture under the.
So if you were looking at that print, would you be able to see that texture? Can you see?
You could touch it. You could feel it. It's relief.
Yeah, see, that's that is
Yeah.
again another thing what we missed in this
Yeah.
thing. Would love to have been able to see that in person.
If it were the
know.
original, if this were the ghost, it probably is not in relief, but the original, when I
Yeah,
used
oh yeah, for sure. But still,
Yeah,
you could get
impression.
a better sense of that impression that was made.
Right.
Yeah. Which we understand. Bonnie and I really got into etchings years and years ago, and the old maps and everything, the way they did etchings, and then would come
Not
in.
doing them ourselves.
No, not doing them
just-
ourselves. You just
Oh.
we've collected a few of them,
Uh-huh.
and the amount of work that went into them, and also, you know, these people were, they were creating, you know, they'd have to make a map, and they would want to sell that map, and so it would have to be beautiful. So they would etch these beautiful plates to show a bit of the world, and then someone would come in and paint them, and I just found that process amazing. I loved it. So not exactly what you're doing here, I understand, but still, it's that, you know, it's at that the relief that makes the print, and it's really cool.
Right. But although this one that you're looking at now has no physical element that can be repeated. It's flat. It's totally
It's
flat.
because you rubbed it out, right, and then you
Yeah.
added to
And
it.
any
Yeah,
lines were just, like toothpick lines or something,
Yeah.
whatever you take away shows white. That's all.
so then how many of those would you do
What?
like I could imagine, so did you have that particular thing in mind as you were making that, or it just evolved as you were?
It evolves as I go.
Yeah.
Because some of it I don't have control. And then when it goes to the press, something else happens altogether.
Yeah,
Well, that's what makes it fun. Yeah.
I love the motion of this one and the abstractness.
Yeah.
The little guy right in the middle.
Yep.
You
Your
know,
baby.
but the fluidity of it, the movement of it.
Well, that's going into
Oh.
my sister's house.
Okay, we've got Holly Maxwell is going to talk about her barred owl. So let me find that.
Uh-oh.
That's okay. No worries. Oops. That is not a barred owl. Hold on. That is a barred owl. Here we go.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a very, very nice piece.
Here.
Also,
I actually, I call it guilty because I'm in the Pacific Northwest and they continually kick northern spotted owls out of their nests.
So you said it, yeah, you said it, not me. Yes. It's a
he's
beautiful
kind
owl,
of
but
looking over his shoulder, or she
Yeah.
is going, what?
Yeah.
Not me.
Yeah. Yeah, they're eventually going to make it down to California. I think they've made it down to Northern California now, but yeah, they're survivors, these guys. Yeah.
They definitely are. But a friend of mine is a photographer, and I make Frankenbirds out of a lot of her photographs. This is colored pencil again on just on a it's like a 300-pound black Strathmore, I think, Smith hot press. But my favorite part's the lichen and the moss on the branch.
That's right.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that. But I really enjoyed doing this. It did take a while to make it happen. But since they have a lot of black, I thought I would go on black. And I love the snake. I just bought some pastel matte, so I'm going to experiment with that too soon. But I'm basically just getting started as kind of a older artist. So
Wow.
So
it's
so this was a photograph that you
I had several. She had several of the barred owl, and she I had several. Oh my God, my dog. Sorry. I had several of the barred owl, and I wanted to make it look like it was looking over its shoulder, and I wasn't happy with any of the poses, so I combined them.
So was the photo that perspective, like looking down on its back, or did you kind of make it
It
more
was
look that way?
she had a lot of shots of this owl, and I turned its head and fiddled around with some of the feathers, but it was mainly this perspective of it, looking in this direction.
Yeah,
Sort of.
It's cool. No, it's very believable. Yeah.
But I call them Frankenbirds.
Yeah.
Wasn't it a barred owl that was attacking joggers at a park up in Salem a few years ago?
Yeah. Yes. Was it? It might have been a barred owl, or it might have been a great horned owl.
I think it was a
can't-
barred owl.
Yeah, I think, yeah, of course, I love all of them, but, I just, yeah, barred owls. And I have a friend who I think, she's got one living in her backyard in Georgia, and, it keeps swooping at her dog. Because, it's the time now to be territorial.
Right.
But
Yeah,
anyway, thanks y'all, and thanks for accepting me into the show.
Oh, yeah. No, it's,
Oh,
yeah, well, yeah,
yeah.
well,
it's a new thing for me.
well,
Thank you.
yeah, well, keep going.
Keep going.
Yeah,
At
keep
all.
going. Yeah.
We like it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Who else would like to talk about their work here? Ah. Very good. And let's spotlight. Let me find your work here. Okay. Here we go.
Mm.
Is it oil? It's acrylic.
We can't hear you yet.
Oh, boy.
That's it.
Oh, good. Oh, yay.
There we go. Got me now, huh? Okay.
Got you now.
Hi.
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 Hi from San Antonio.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me and thank you for accepting my work. I'm a 35-year-old pet portrait artist, and I also love going to zoos and taking pictures of animals and taking those pictures home and painting them.
So was this a cat that you saw in the zoo initially?
Yeah, this is a clouded leopard that was about to get fed.
Oh,
Wow.
And so she was giving some really expressive poses.
Uh-huh. It's gorgeous
Yeah, I
cat.
really love the eyes.
Thank you. I was really resonating with what Sue said earlier about photographing pictures and about how they never ever come out like you want them to. You just can't quite get the colors right.
yeah.
And I feel that way about this one.
And
It's-
then the choice of the orchids and stuff on the left, do you know what orchids those are? Or is that where the cloud leopard would usually be? Or like, why did you choose to do that?
Well, I added the orchids later, and I did a little research and found out that these oh, I forget what these particular orchids are from around the India and Thailand where these cats live. And so I thought, visually it fits and
Mhm.
regionally it fits. And so I thought it worked out.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's,
Beautiful.
yeah.
Thank you.
And there's a parrot.
It's a military macaw.
Yes.
Yes. It's very realistic. Yeah.
Yeah, we had we have a red-fronted macaw, which is very similar to a military macaw.
Oh yeah.
People confuse them all the time, and she's extremely expressive. And yeah, you got the feeling of you captured that macaw expression. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know if you photographers can relate with this, but some of these bigger birds seem to really look right into the camera lens when you start taking pictures. And this
Yep.
one was just one of the best pictures I got from my day at the zoo. And I just took it home and, oh, I have to paint this. I have to paint this bird. It's so pretty.
Yeah, they're smart and they're inquisitive, and I'm sure it was wondering, what's going on there? What are you doing? And knew the focus was on it. So
Mhm.
yeah, they're smart.
Yeah, I know they're very smart. I've never had a bird, but I appreciate them.
Yeah.
They're smart and a lot of work.
A
Yeah.
lot of work. Yeah.
Yeah.
You should have your
fun
bird
to-
on screen.
They that it's really cool because also, I mean, it's so real because we have one, but just the way it's looking, that I don't know, you really captured it. And they do look right at you. They do not. It's not like
Yeah,
it's not like some other animals
Yeah.
that might look away or not want to look at you. They want to look
Yeah,
at
they're not
you.
fooling around. Like they're
Yeah.
checking you out.
And
Yeah.
then when they
Oh,
get
yeah.
excited, they pin. So then their eyes pin and they open and close and open and close and open and close really fast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah, but yeah, it's lovely. Really nice.
Thank you.
That is
How
lovely.
big is that? 20 by
20 by
Did you have one more?
10 by 20. Yes, I had one more.
Yes,
Oh, wow. You got
zebras.
3 in.
My
We
zebras.
so we don't, it's all blind to us, so we don't know.
What's that?
We don't know that, like, we're choosing the same artist.
Oh, really? Okay,
Good job.
cool.
No,
Thank
it's
you.
blind to
Yeah.
us. Yeah, it's blind.
I
We
did
don't
not know that. That's great. Yeah, this one, the other two were acrylics and this one was oil. I try to jump around to different mediums and learn as much as I can. So this is a smaller one, but it is an oil and I'm pretty proud of it.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
It's
it is beautiful.
Really beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has really nice light and nice composition. Yeah.
And then-
Okay. Do
Thank
we
you.
have anyone else here?
Thanks for entering.
I see someone in chat. Let's see what we've got. Hold on a sec. Okay, we have a comment from Holly Maxwell, gorgeous work. Do we have anyone else here that would like to talk about their work? And if not, it's probably going to be good.
Diane Maxwell's talking, but she's on mute.
Who is this?
Uh-oh.
Diane George, rather.
Okay, let's see if
Hi.
we can.
Yes, mine is mating dance too.
Okay, hold on a sec.
And I'm so impressed with this show. I mean, these painters are amazing.
Yeah.
Did you have mostly paintings and drawings or a lot of photography? Because I haven't seen the whole show.
Oh,
Well,
just
there was
go
a
on
lot
and
more.
take a look. What do you think? It's about 50-50?
No, well, I mean, I think there's less photography than, don't you think?
Well, it was a mix.
Yeah.
I mean, because there was
There's
also
three-dimensional art
three-dimensional
too.
art too. But yeah, it wasn't heavier on the photography than other things. Let's put it that way.
Mhm, mhm. But the show is beautiful. Thank you
Yeah.
for inviting me.
There we go.
So I'm Diane George from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And this photograph was taken at a bird sanctuary in Ocean City, New Jersey. And this is the great egret. And in the process, a male probably in the process of a mating dance, which is pretty amazing to see. Mate in sort of mid-April to mid-May. And just watching these birds is amazing. There's a lot of stretching and preening and fluffing their feathers.
Yeah.
It's really amazing to see. So
Yeah, it is. And, I think what I like about that photo is that you got a lot of its feather, all of those display feathers out, you see those a lot just laying flat on their back, but being there while he was showing them all off is really, really cool and captured.
yes.
Very cool. Yeah.
You know that I'm looking at it. It's got the green patch going from its side to the
The
bill.
bill. Yeah.
And I've never seen that here. And I know my friend, I have a friend also named Pat Bates in Florida, and she gets amazing shots and hers show that. I've never seen that here.
Yeah, I never seen it here before either. In fact, that I noticed that, and I just figured, well, it's not a West Coast or even Western Hemisphere. I don't know. Egret.
No, it's up and down the East Coast. Yeah. And then we
Yeah.
also have the snowy egret that has the black bill.
Right.
Yes.
Well, so we have this same egret. We have both those egrets here.
We
but
have
our-
both.
Yeah, but our great egret does not have that green bit between its eye and its bill.
Oh,
Yeah,
In
I've
fact-
never seen it.
Yeah.
And I know my friend puts photos up. They've all got it. And even the snowies have a little bit different coloration,
mhm.
Wow.
which is, it's a lovely shot.
So
They are-
Pat, now we have to look for, we got to find ourselves an East Coast bird here, right? Look for that
Yeah.
green patch.
We got to look for one.
Diane,
Scott, have you seen where these guys roost here?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
Where?
Yeah, who, these guys?
Yeah, because I know there's a great blue heron rookery right along the river here.
And I've seen them roosting on between Balboa and the path that goes along the back of.
That's where the great blues are, but I've never seen where these guys,
Have you walked the entire road?
I sure have.
Hmm.
And there's usually black crowned night herons roosting down at the very far end of the golf course.
They can be like anywhere, yeah.
Yeah,
I've got a question to ask you. I noticed that the bird is very bright in the center of the picture. And it looks like it gets darker towards the edges. Did you do some photoshopping to get that to happen, or was that the way it actually photographed?
Oh, we did some layering, yeah, to
Okay,
darken it because
very good. You've got
the
the
green
emphasis on the
was
bird.
just so intense.
Yeah,
This bird sanctuary, and you know, the view into it, just the green is so intense. So we tried to treat the background a little bit.
Doesn't show
well, he's a beauty,
Thank you.
and I think he knows it.
it.
Okay,
Yeah, it's really nice, the white against the green.
okay. Do we have anyone else that would like to?
This looks like Mating Dance 1. Really does, but it's not. No, it's 2. Because when you look at the photograph downstairs, it looks blacker.
Pat,
Yeah,
it's Susan. There's some, Oliver is in chat and he said, I'll talk about the caterpillars.
Oh, that's
Oliver
good.
and what's Oliver's last name?
It's Cruz,
No.
CRUZ.
All righty. Oh, my goodness. Let's see here. Yes,
This is one that Bonnie and I really wanted to see in
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is kind of different on the other side of it, and even on that like flat side where the caterpillar is kind of facing up, because the texture is so starkly different from the back. The back is like, you know, looks like an average piece of wood, but that side kind of looks like it was cut from something, and it's super smooth. So yeah, there's a lot of different like just things happening to the wood on all sides.
Hmm.
It's really cool.
Thank you.
Why did you do this?
So really, I found this wood while I was out walking with my dog, and you know, I had it in my studio for a while, kind of wondering what to put on it, and one day I kind of just thought like, oh, you know, it'd be really cool to have something a little bit more like flowy on it that kind of could twist and turn around all of these little like dips in the wood, and I thought, oh, caterpillar would be perfect. And so I'm from Bisbee, Arizona, and these caterpillars are native to Arizona. They're called the pipevine swallowtail caterpillar.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So yeah, really, I was just inspired by the wood itself.
Oh, that's
How
cool.
big are those
It's cool that you know the caterpillars. too.
Yeah, we talked about this one a lot, and wish
Yeah,
that we could
we
have
did.
like looked at it, yeah, in person. Yeah, but it's really cool. Yeah. So how common are pipevine swallowtail caterpillars, like larvae? Like if you find pipevines, you'll see the larva on them, or like how common?
They are pretty common. They're, you know, I've maybe seen one like once or twice, just like out and about in my town. But I'm sure, you know, if I spent more time out hiking, then I probably would.
Right.
Pleased, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I know there's people in California that plant pipevine trying to attract that butterfly, and sometimes they do make it here to California, but I don't think they're here all the time. They just make it here occasionally.
Yeah, maybe they migrate there.
Yeah.
So how did you, so it's paper clay. So how did you do this?
So I make the clay myself. It's made out of newspaper, joint compound, Elmer's glue, flour and arrowroot. And so you just kind of like blend all that up after treating the paper a little bit, and then and it makes this like clay-like substance. And so it's put over an armature made of tinfoil and wire usually.
Wow.
It's so a bunch of different processes. So you have to make the armature and then put a thin layer on the outside so that it all hardens, and then you have a surface that you're able to sculpt on top of, and then sculpt it roughly, let it dry, and then I take a Dremel sander, like a handheld sander, and go around all the curves and like essentially whittle it with a tool, and then usually use some sandpaper, like hand sandpaper, to refine things that I can't reach with a big tool, and then paint it.
Wow.
Wow.
It must be really strong. And so then
It's
it just,
really strong.
yeah, and it just dries naturally.
Yeah, I don't have to bake it or anything. I just put it in the sun. And when it's dry, I can like smack it on the table and it doesn't.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's really strong. It's that joint compound, I think, is probably what does it.
Wow.
Well, thanks for explaining that, because yeah, we talked a lot about that piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's really different and cool. We like caterpillars.
Yes.
Thanks, me too.
Okay. And do we have anyone else? Okay. Well, what do you think?
I think that wraps it up.
Okay. I'd like to thank everyone, thank the artists. It's just been amazing. Thank
Yeah.
you, board members. Thank you, Scott and Bonnie. Your commentary is amazing. And go wildlife.
That's right.
Yeah.
All I can say.
Yeah. Yeah. We loved being involved. We loved seeing all this art. It was really, really fun. It was really fun.
Well, thank you so much. Maybe eventually, I don't know if I have the energy anymore, but it'd be nice to see another one in person
Yeah.
at some
Yeah.
point. The problem is, we can't get these wonderful pieces from across the country and actually
Yeah.
world
Well,
them.
right. It's a give and take, right?
It's
Yeah.
it's a give and take. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice. We had people from all over
Yeah,
entering.
I know.
We didn't know that either.
yeah.
right.
Okay. So I think we're going to call it a wrap.